Hello friends, my name is Himanshu Joshi and welcome to my YouTube channel HM Joshi. The running subject is soil mechanics and the previous lecture contains the introduction to the soil mechanics, and today I will discuss about the index property of the soil. Friends, if you like my video, please like and subscribe and share. Okay. So second chapter is the index property of a soil. The subject is soil mechanics. Friends, soil has two types of property. One is the index property and another one is a engineering property. So now I will tell you about index property. Uh, Index property, we can say that index property is that type of property of soil which identifies the and classify the soil. It means that if we know about the how is the soil type, then we can easily find out from the index property. Index property has a sub classification, that soil grain properties and soil aggregate property. Soil grain property depend on the individual grain of the soil mass, and soil aggregate property depend on the soil mass as a whole. It means then soil grain property depends on the grain to grain. Each soil grain property depends on the each grains property, and soil aggregate property does not depend on the grain individual grain. It depends on the whole soil mass. Okay. Soil grain property has examples such that grain size distribution, for example sieve analysis and sedimentation analysis, grain shape such as flaky or a bulky. Friends, I want to say that this index property, which example I am telling, I will explain each and every property in detail later on. Okay. Second property is engineering property. Engineering property is useful for the understanding the engineering behavior of the soil. For example, permeability, compressibility, shear strength, etc. Friends, I want to tell you that if you learn properly the index property of the soil, then your subject soil mechanics will smoothly run. Otherwise, you have no idea or you have no better option. Okay, so please learn properly and ask something in the comment box if you have any doubt. So now I will discuss about the three phase system of the soil mass. Now what is the three phase system of the soil mass? Generally soil mass, every soil mass has a three phases or a three components, we can say. One component is a solid, other component is a water, and another third one component is a air. So generally soil mass has a three component, so we can say it has a three phase system of the soil mass. Three phase system diagram is also called as a block diagram. In this diagram we can see that one block diagram is shown. This is a lower part is a solids, upper part is a water, and then above part is a air. Solid volume we can say Vs, then water volume we can say Vw, and air volume we can say Va, and subsequently there are weight called as Ws, Ww, and Wa. Friends, volume of air can be measured, but weight of air cannot be counted, and we can neglect it. Okay. So total volume of the soil mass is equal to weight volume of air, volume of water, and volume of solid, and total volume of total weight of the soil mass is equal to weight of water and weight of solid, because the weight of air are neglected. So in this, so here we see that the total volume of voids is equal to volume of air plus volume of water. Now a term I want to define is that degree of saturation. Here the degree of saturation is equal to volume of water upon the volume of the voids. It is called the degree of saturation. So the three-phase diagram is only applicable for the partially saturated soil. Now what is the degree of saturation and what is the partially saturated soil, I will explain later. Okay. Now soil has a two-phase system also in two cases. If a soil is completely saturated, it means SR is equal to 1, and if SR is equal to 1, then volume of air is 0. So it means that if a soil is completely saturated, all the voids are completely filled with water. In this diagram we can say that if this part volume of void is completely filled with water, then there is no chance of air presence. Okay, so volume of air is neglected here. So it is a completely saturated case. Now second case is if soil is a completely dry. If we put the soil mass in a oven dry and let it be completely dry after 24 hours, then there is no chances or no place for the water. In this case, total void is equal to volume of air. So in this case, there is no place for the water, and this volume of air is equal to volume of voids. Okay. Some basic definition we have to understand before we further move on the index property of the soil. The first one is water content or a moisture content. For instance, water content is equal to weight of water upon weight of solids. It is expressed in the percentage. So if we denote the weight of water by WW and weight of solid by WS, then we can write the equation like in this form. If we consider the mass instead of the weight, then we can also write MW upon MS into 100. Though sometimes the soil is completely submerged or saturated, in that case weight of water can exceed the weight of the solid. In that case water content can be greater than or equal to 100%. So in this case we can say that there is no upper limit for the water content. It can be exceed the 100%. Further, I will tell about the water content. Then the water content is equal to gravity water plus capillary water and plus hygroscopic water. Gravity water is that type of water which denote the water after the raining or the flooding. Then capillary water is that type of water which the soil particle absorb by the capillary action, and the hygroscopic water is that type of water which shows the soil water after the soil mass after the oven dried soil mass put in the environment, and the soil particles absorb the some amount of water from the atmosphere. So it is important that water content includes what or not. The water content does not include the structural water. Structural water is that part of water in the soil mass which is useful in the interchemical bonding. Okay. Further important concept I want to explain you that the which type of soil has more water content. There are two type of generally two type of classification in the soil. One is a fine soil and another is a coarse soil. So in the fine soil, particles are the finer. Particles are the finer means the smaller in the size, and in the another type of soil, the particles are bigger. It means coarse particles. So in fine particles or fine soil, we can say fine soil can absorb the more amount of water because it has a smaller size of particle, so it can store more water. So in this line we can say fine soil have a more water content than a coarse soil. Second term is very important. It is called a void ratio. So void ratio definition is very simple: void volume upon the solid volume. So I have drawn here one phase diagram and define properly the void ratio. Void ratio is equal to void volume upon solid volume is equal to VV upon VS. Void ratio is generally expressed in a fraction. Okay, it can also be greater than 1, and there is a no upper limit because same reason as above the water content. Then that void volume can exceed the solid volume in certain cases. So void ratio have a greater than 0 value or greater than 1, have any value. Okay. One another concept here is that individual space between the particle is more in a coarse soil, but void ratio is more in the fine soil. Okay. Here I will explain above statement that the total void space is more in a fine grain soil. See this figure. Here a coarse soil have a larger particle, and in a fine soil have a finer or a smaller particles. So void spaces, it is a void spaces. This is void space. So individual void space is more in a coarse soil and less in the fine soil. But total void ratio, the total void ratio is more in the fine soil than a coarse soil. Understand? So remember that. Okay. Now third term is a porosity. Okay. The porosity is expressed in the percentage, and it is defined as the void volume upon the total volume into 100. Here a phase diagram I have drawn it. Void volume upon the total volume. Though total volume is more than the void volume, the porosity can never exceed 100%. So it is between 0 to 100%. Now void ratio is more stable than porosity. Why it is so? Because void ratio contain, here is a void ratio definition, and void ratio contain void volume upon solid volume. So the denominator contain the solid volume, and in any type of soil, solid volume cannot change. Okay. And in this porosity definition, the denominator contains the total volume, and total volume contains the solid volume plus void volume. So it is changing with the void volume. Okay. So void ratio is more stable in the analytical problems. Fourth one is degree of saturation. Degree of saturation is defined as a volume of water upon volume of voids. It means that for a given volume of soil, how much we have volume of voids, and in that volume of voids, how much volume of water we have. Okay. So degree of saturation, it means that in a particular type of soil and in the void, how much amount of water we have. It also between 0 to 1. Air content is generally inverse of the degree of saturation. Air content shows the amount of air present in the void, and degree of saturation shows the amount of water presence in the void. Okay. So it is equal to 1 minus degree of saturation. Now 6 one is a percentage air voids. Percentage air voids shows the amount of air present in the total volume of the soil. Okay. And how it differs from the air content, because such that the air content shows the volume of air volume of air in comparison to the volume of voids, and percentage air void shows the air volume as compared to or in comparison to the total volume. Okay, and air percentage air void also expressed in the 100 in percentage. Now seventh term is unit weight of the soil. The first one is a bulk unit weight. I want to say that unit weight is equal to weight upon volume, and specific gravity is equal to mass upon volume. So unit weight has several types, such as bulk unit weight. Bulk unit weight is equal to denoted by gamma B. Gamma B is equal to W by V is equal to total weight upon total volume. If we consider the dry unit weight, then gamma D is equal to WD upon V. It means that dry weight upon total volume. Saturated unit weight is equal to saturated weight upon volume. Unit weight of solid is equal to gamma solid upon volume of solid. It is little different from the others. Okay, remember that. Now submerge or a beyond unit weight. Submerged unit weight is equal to gamma submerged upon the total volume. Okay, the gamma submerged is equal to gamma saturated minus gamma W. Okay, now here the gamma W is equal to unit weight of the water. It equal to weight of water upon the volume of water. It IS standard have specified the unit weight of water is equal to 9.81 kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, now how the density is differ from the unit weight. So that density is equal to mass upon volume, and according to CGS system, the weight or density of water is equal to 1 gram per centimeter cube or cc. Now different unit weight have a relation that the gamma S is bigger than everyone, then gamma saturated, then gamma bulk, then gamma D, and then gamma submerged. Okay. Eighth term is a specific gravity of a soil. It is also called as a absolute or a true specific gravity. It is absolute. It is called absolute because it does not contain the voids. The specific gravity or a absolute specific gravity or a true specific gravity is equal to unit weight of solid upon unit weight of the water. It is measured or considered at the 27 degree or sometimes at a 20 degree Celsius. Then another type of the specific gravity is a mass or a apparent specific gravity. It is denoted as a GM is equal to unit weight other than. I have right here that in a mass specific gravity, gamma can be anything other than gamma S. Okay, so in the mass or apparent specific gravity, GM is equal to gamma upon gamma W. Though gamma is greater than gamma, so G greater than GM. Okay, so absolute or a true specific gravity is always greater than mass or a apparent specific gravity. I have said that the specific gravity is measured at a 27 degree Celsius. If we have the temperature other than the 27 degree Celsius, then we can find the specific gravity from this formula. Okay, G 27 degree Celsius into gamma 27 degree Celsius is equal to GT 7 degree into gamma T degree. Okay. Now 10th term, very important term is so another important term is the relative density index or degree of density. It is denoted as a ID in the percentage. The percentage ID is equal to E maximum minus E upon E maximum minus E minimum into 100. Here E maximum is equal to, we can say the E maximum is the void ratio of a soil mass in the loosest condition. I will explain that. I am explaining that the E maximum, it means maximum void ratio. So how we get the maximum void ratio? We can get the maximum ratio in the loose soil. Okay, if the soil is a very loose mass, then the void ratio is more. So E maximum is the void ratio in the soil mass in the loosest condition. Okay, and E is equal to natural void ratio. Okay, and E minimum is the void ratio of the soil mass in the densest condition. If the soil mass is the very dense, then we have the smaller void ratio. So the minimum void ratio is the that value. So also we define the ID is equal to 1 upon gamma minimum upon 1 upon gamma D upon 1 upon gamma minimum minus 1 upon gamma max into 100. Okay. Relative density is applicable for the coarse grain soil only. Okay. Only coarse grain soil, applicable for only coarse grain soil, and relative density is better indicator of the denseness than the void ratio. Okay, remember that. According to the value of the degree of density or a density index or a relative density, we can classify the denseness of the soil. If the, here is the table, if the ID value is from the 0 to 15%, then the mass is very loose. Then according to the ID value, if ID is 15 to 35, then loose, 35 to 65, then medium, 65 to 85, then dense, and 85 to 100, then very dense. Then now various methods to find the above relations. Okay, the first we have learnt is the water content or the moisture content of the soil. So now the various methods to find the water content. So please read the first statement. It can be determined with the high precision. It involves mass, not volume. So we know that the mass can not vary much, but volume can vary okay, can vary fastly. So so water content is the ratio of weight of water upon weight of volume. We can precisely find out the water content, then void ratio and the porosity, because void ratio and porosity contains what? It contains volume, and volume can change or can vary more easily than the weight. Okay, remember that. The first method, please remember this method, the methods of the finding the water content. Okay, the first one is the oven drying method. It is the standard laboratory method. Okay, it is the standard laboratory method used. Okay, read out the first statement. It is the simplest and the most accurate method, but the time taking. Okay, it is generally used method. Okay, in the laboratory and also sometimes at the site. Okay, for inorganic soils, temperature is controlled between 105 to 110 degrees Celsius. For organic soil, temperature is maintained up to 60 degree, and if gypsum is present, then temperature is up to 80 degrees Celsius. Generally, the 24 hours are provided for the oven drying, but usually 4 to 6 hours required for the sand to dry, and 60 to 20 hours are required for the clay. If temperature is uncontrolled and more than 110 degrees Celsius, then structural water can be lost. Okay, I have explained what is the structural water. Now the methods to find now what is the procedure to find the water content by the oven drying method. So we have to remember, okay, for three weights. The W1 is a weight of empty container, W2 is a weight of the container plus the moist soil, and W3 is the weight of container plus the dry soil. So the weight of water, how we can find the weight of water? By subtracting W2 minus W3. And how we can find the weight of solid? By subtracting W1 by W3. It means W3 minus W1. So water content is equal to WW upon WS into 100. So we can get this formula by this. Okay. Now second method is a pycnometer method. Okay, for a water content determination. So it is quick method, but it is less accurate than the oven drying method. It is quick than the oven drying method, but not as accurate as the oven drying method. This method is used only when specific gravity of the solids is known. It means that if we know what is the specific gravity of soil, then we can find the water content of the soil. Also more suitable for the cohesion-less soil, where entrapped air from the soil sample can be achieved easily. Okay. It is used for the coarse grain soil only. Okay. Remember that only coarse grain soil can be, okay, only for the coarse grain soil we can find the water content by this method. If we want to find the water content from the fine grain soil, so we have to use kerosene instead of the water, because kerosene has a good wetting property. So here remember the weights W1, W2, W3 and W4. W1 is an empty container, W2 is a container plus moist soil, W3 is solid plus water, okay, and W4 is a water. Okay, so remember this equation for the finding the water content. Remember like this 1, 2, 3 and 4 into G minus 1 upon G minus 1 into 100. Okay, it is easy way to remember it. Now third method is a calcium carbide method. Okay, and it is also called as a rapid moisture meter method. It is very quick method and takes only 5 to 7 minutes, but may not give the accurate result. Remember only in that case that it is very quick method. Calcium carbide is very quick method. Okay. Now fourth method is a sand bath method. Sand bath method is generally used in the field when oven drying facility is not available. It is a very quick field method and requires 1/2 to 1 hour for the water content determination. Okay. And in this method, a sand is put on the bucket, and that bucket is heated by the kerosene stove, and we can find the water content by this formula. Then alcohol method, torsion balance method. These are the various methods for the radiation method. These are various methods for the finding the water content of the soil. Okay. Then determination of the specific gravity of the soil. First one is a pycnometer method. Okay. This method is as similar as the water content determination of the pycnometer method, but instead of taking the moist sample in W2 weight, we assume or we consider the dry weight from the bone dryer in W2, and it is also the simple formula for understanding W2 minus W1 upon W2 minus W1 minus W3 minus W4. Okay, if kerosene is used, then specific gravity of the kerosene is multiplied with the GS. Okay, so it is also used for the coarse grain soil. And second one method for the specific gravity determination is the density bottle method, and density bottle method is the most accurate and standard method for the all types of soil. Okay. And third method is indirect by shrinkage limit. We learn it later on. Then determination of the unit weight. First method is unit weight mean the density, or unit weight is equal to weight of water upon weight volume of water. Sorry, my mistake. Weight of soil upon volume of soil is equal to unit weight. First method is a core cutter method. Core cutter method is generally used for the cohesive soil. Core cutter is a cylinder container open at top and bottom, having a 10 cm dia and 12.5 cm height with volume 1000 cc. Remember these dimensions. Core cutter is punched into the ground and filled the cylinder is taken out. So by this procedure we can find the density of the soil. Then second method is a water displacement method. It is also suitable for the highly cohesive soil and sticky type of the soil. Okay. Then sand replacement method. It is generally used for the coarse grain soil. Then water balloon method, radiation method are other miscellaneous method for the finding the in situ unit weight. Some important relationships between the above properties. Here I will tell you some basic important. You don't have to remember or mug up all the relationship, but you need 3 to 4 relations. Barabar. You have to remember 3 to 4 relationships. You have to remember 3 to 4 relationships. Okay. The first one is E into S is equal to G into W. It means that void ratio into degree of saturation is equal to specific gravity into water content. It is very important. Then gamma D is equal to gamma upon 1 plus W. Gamma D is equal to dry unit weight and gamma is equal to bulk unit weight, and 1 plus W. W is water content. And then please remember this equation, bulk unit weight. Bulk unit weight gamma is equal to G plus E into S into gamma W upon 1 plus E. Okay. Now if we want the gamma saturated, then put S is equal to 1, and if we require gamma D, then put S is equal to 0. In case of gamma D, put S is equal to 0, then G into gamma W upon 1 plus E. Okay. This equation is for the gamma submerged is equal to G minus 1 upon 1 plus E into gamma W. So please remember, which I will note down. This one, then this one, this, and this, and this, and this. Okay.